Would you like to learn how to stop your procrastination now and learn how to tap into the secret of top achievers? If so, prepare your mind, because we are going to be expanding it beyond what you've ever considered about procrastination. My name is Tyler, and I am an Ericksonian hypnotherapist, and I have helped thousands of people transform their mindsets and develop personal growth knowledge into effortless habits. And the first principle you're going to need to understand that won't make sense yet, but will by the end of this video, is this. Procrastination doesn't exist. It's not real. It's actually an illusion. It's a word you made up to describe something that's not real. Because think about it. Each and every time you've been procrastinating, you weren't procrastinating on whatever it is you were doing to distract yourself from the procrastination. You were just extremely motivated to do something different than what you were wanting to do at the time. So in reality, if you start to shift your mind, you'll realize that you always have a source of powerful motivation. It's just not always pointing where you'd like it to point. But that has nothing to do with this weird thing that you used to call procrastination, but instead has to deal with the second principle, which is what's motivating you. I want you to consider, what is it exactly that you were doing when you weren't doing what you wanted to do? You had this thing that you wanted to do. Maybe it was your essay. You wanted to write this essay, and you're sitting there and you're avoiding it, and you went to something else. What was it? Maybe it was Netflix. Maybe it was food. Maybe it was hanging out with friends. Whatever it is for you, I want you to stop and focus in on that and ask yourself, why were you so motivated to do those other things? And this isn't meant to be judgmental at all. I want you to be genuine, because there is a real reason that you did those other things. This isn't some sort of trick question and gotcha, oh, you're so bad. No, there's genuine reasons behind why you chose to do the things other than the essay. And that's the key. We want to dig down into those and figure it out, because we want to know what's actually driving you, because maybe if we look at that close enough, we can start to get to the feeling inside. And if we do, perhaps we can begin to leverage it to help you achieve other things that you'd like to do as well. Because that's the truth, is you really did want to do those things. And yet, this brings us into the third principle you need to understand, which is you also wanted to write the essay on some level. There was something in you that's telling you, I should be working on this essay, but I'm not. Instead, I'm going to go and do this other thing. So we also want to dig into the essay itself and figure out, what is it that's motivating us about the essay? And what you're going to come to find is that many times when we procrastinate, what's actually happening here is that motivation isn't being coded correctly. You see, the unconscious mind processes in symbols and feelings and stories, and it's less motivated by logic in the material realm. So what can end up happening is you put yourself in a situation where you are trying to motivate yourself to do something because it's the logical choice. It's the smart decision. But the unconscious mind doesn't speak that language. So instead, we want to look at the reasons for why you're motivated to do the essay. And just like we did before, we want to dig down deep into it and discover the feelings inside, how great you're going to feel once you've achieved that, what your life will begin to look like because you've accomplished this, and bring that back over to the unconscious mind, because you can start to motivate yourself a lot more by diving into the emotions and the symbols and stories, just like you were doing before with the other activity. Because you go and you see hanging out with your friends, and your brain immediately starts playing a movie of all the times you had fun and hung out and had a bunch of good times, and it's looking at this essay and it's saying, well, this will make my future good at some point. And it goes, okay, what's the evidence of that? We've been writing essays since we were 5, and nothing seems to have changed at all. I don't get why you're telling me this. So now, with these 3 principles, you are now equipped to finally make this concept of procrastination vanish from your life like the illusion it always was. Because as you begin to recognize that there never was this thing that you used to call procrastination, but instead was just motivation, and a motivation that you can begin to tap into. You can learn one of the most powerful concepts for motivation, which is learning to sell yourself. You see, before, you had one good offer and one bad offer, but now you know how to speak the language of the unconscious mind. You know how to tap into the feelings, the symbols, the stories, so that you can begin to tip the scales, because it's always going to be fun to go watch that Netflix, to go hang out with your friends, to go eat that delicious food. But what you can do is raise the joy and fun and happiness for what it is that you want to do now and in the future. So you don't have to learn how to use willpower. You need to learn how to make what you want a better deal, a better offer, and sell yourself on it. Knowing full well these other options were here, but the better option, as you learn to sell better and better, is way up here, waiting for you to take action now. Because as you learn to shift this, you're going to realize that inside you is a source of motivation. And there's other ways of making that go up and down. And that's a topic for another day. But at the core is a source of motivation. It's an energy source that's inside you. And it's going to motivate you towards all sorts of things. And until you start to learn how to make better opportunities, it's going to go to the nearest available opportunity. And so this brings us right back to that second principle we were talking about. Those other options are good offers, and you just haven't made a compelling sales offer yet. And you can actually do this by just tapping into the 4 quadrants of value. You say, okay, what's the dream outcome? How much effort and time is it going to take to get this? How likely is it that I'm going to get this dream outcome that I'm interested in? And how long is it going to take? Well, when you take that little quadrant and you go up and you're like, okay, well, if I go and hang out with my friends, I'm going to probably feel good because I've seen that happen a lot. So perceived likelihood is pretty high. And what's the dream outcome? To feel good. Okay, so I'm going to probably feel good because I'm hanging out with my friends. How much effort is it? Well, not much. I just go and hang out with them and I'm done. And how long is it going to take? I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. I send them a DM and like, hey guys, want to hang out and play video games? Boom. So that's a pretty good offer. And then you're over here in essay world and you're like, what's the dream outcome? I complete a piece of paper. Is it going to be easy? No, it's going to take a lot of effort and sacrifice. You're going to be able to do it quick? No, it's going to take a long time. Okay. And what's the perceived likelihood of you getting it done? I guess pretty high. I know I can write an essay. Well, what do you think's going to win? So you need to start learning how to leverage the emotional side of your mind, the symbolic side of your mind, so you can make better offers that outcompete these other offers. So instead, we can reframe this as the dream outcome. Well, what is the dream outcome? Maybe you say it's graduating, but is it really graduating? You got to go deeper down. Graduation's an abstraction. And maybe beyond that, it's, well, I'm going to get a job that makes me a lot of money. Okay, and then what happens when you get a job that makes you a lot of money? Well, I get to feel safe. I get to have freedom. There we go. Freedom, safety. So the dream outcome of completing this essay is a step towards safety, tranquility, freedom. That's the dream outcome. And how likely is it to happen? Because if we go and look at the perceived likelihood of getting those results, we can look at other people who have done what we have done, gotten the degrees we've gotten, and see the jobs that they get. And we can see how likely that is. And that can let us know just how likely we're going to have freedom, safety, tranquility. And now, that little bit of effort and sacrifice of simply writing a paper, something you've been doing since you were 5, really pales in comparison to this massive value you're going to get. That's very likely to happen. And all it's going to take is for you to commit a little bit of time now to get it done. But wait, there's more. When you take action on this offer now, you can also get to hang out with your friends for free after completing this offer today. We're going to throw that in as a bonus offer. That's right. You're going to get to have safety, tranquility, and freedom, plus hang out with your friends and feel good. Sound like a good deal? And that's why procrastination doesn't exist. You just need to learn how to manage your own internal motivations and start selling yourself on the life that you want to live. And by the way, you might come into a crossroads in your life where you're going to discover the thing that you're trying to sell yourself on is just a bad offer. And if that's the case, you really want to reconsider your offer and start designing it to be something that's going to guarantee your success. Because life's too short for bad offers.